Hey guys, tonight we're venturing into an alternate history to ask a thrilling question. What if the Spanish conquistadors had lost? Imagine the mighty Aztec and Inca empires, surviving, thriving, and shaping the modern world in ways we can barely imagine. No vast gold shipments to Spain. Number colonial domination of the Americas, just a clash of civilizations with a very different outcome. How would this have changed global power, culture, and even the languages we speak today? If you love bold what-if scenarios, this is the one to watch. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment where you're watching. From Let's Rewrite History Together, you find yourself gently stepping into a world untouched by the footsteps of the Spanish conquistadors, a world teeming with life, color, and the hum of vibrant civilizations. Imagine, if you will, the vast expanse of the Americas long before the arrival of foreign ships and the echoing clash of steel. Here, the land breathes a different story. One of deep-rooted cultures flourishing in harmony with nature and each other. Picture the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, rising majestically in the middle of a serene lake. Can you hear the soft lapping of water against canoes as merchants paddle through the bustling canals, transporting goods between vibrant market stalls? The air is filled with the rich aroma of cacao, fresh maize, and blooming flowers from the nearby gardens. The marketplace buzzes with chatter, laughter, and the rhythmic tapping of artisans shaping obsidian blades or weaving intricate textiles. Everywhere you look, colors explode, from the brilliant feathers adorning noble headdresses to the vibrant ceramics decorated with sacred symbols. Moving westward, your imagination carries you up the rugged peaks of the Andes, where the Inca civilization thrives among terraced mountainsides and winding stone roads. The city of Cusco stretches below, its grand plazas and temples constructed with precisely cut stones that fit so perfectly they seem to defy gravity. You feel the cool mountain breeze brushing your skin as the soft melodies of panpipes and drums drift from nearby festivals celebrating the sun god. Inti farmers tend to their potato fields and maize crops, ingeniously irrigated through canals that snake-like veins through the earth, testament to their deep knowledge of engineering and agriculture. In the dense emerald jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula, the Mayan cities rise in harmonious coexistence with towering ceiba trees and the chorus of exotic birds. Imagine walking through a shaded forest path where the sunlight filters in golden shafts, touching elaborately carved stone stelae and pyramids that seem to reach toward the sky. You can almost hear the whispered chants of priests conducting rituals to honor the gods, and the soft crunch of your footsteps mingling with the distant call of howler monkeys. The Mayans' calendars and astronomical observations are marvels of precision, their writing system one of the most complex in the ancient world. Across these diverse landscapes, societies share a profound connection to the land, embodying a balance between the spiritual and the practical. Their technologies, whether the floating gardens of the Aztecs, the suspension bridges of the Incas, or the intricate water reservoirs of the Mayans, reflect ingenuity tailored to their environments. The rhythms of daily life are guided by ceremonies, agricultural cycles, and a rich tapestry of myth and history, woven through generations. As you imagine these scenes, soft sounds drift in, a gentle river flowing nearby, the distant beat of ceremonial drums, the rustling of leaves stirred by a mild breeze. These ambient whispers invite you deeper into this pre-conquest world, encouraging a sense of calm awe for the civilizations that thrived long before foreign eyes gazed upon them. Take a moment now to absorb this vibrant panorama. The markets alive with vibrant goods and voices, the soaring cities balanced between earth and sky, the sacred forests humming with life and mystery. Feel the pulse of a world that, despite the passage of time and tides of change, still resonates with the echoes of ingenuity, culture, and resilience. As you breathe in this imagined past, allow the sensory richness of these ancient Americas, the sights, sounds, and stories, to gently lull you into a space of peaceful reflection. Here, the histories of these great peoples unfold slowly, inviting curiosity and respect, and settling softly into the background of your mind, like the distant rhythm of a drum guiding you onward. The intricate artistry found in Aztec turquoise mosaics glimmers softly in your mind's eye, each tiny piece a testament to a civilization's reverence for beauty and symbolism. Imagine the hands that crafted these delicate works, steady and skilled, working beside weavers whose vibrant cloths would drape nobility in colors and patterns telling tales of gods and conquest. Nearby, the aroma of copal incense mingles with the scent of fresh earth after rain, rising from temple altars where priests offer prayers to Twaloc, the rain god, asking for life-giving waters. Shift your senses now to the vast Andean terraces, where you can almost feel the cool, damp stone beneath your fingertips, warmed gently by the morning sun. Hear the low murmur of voices as farmers tend to their crops: potatoes, quinoa, maize, nurturing the food that sustains their people. The rhythmic tapping of their tools echoes softly across the valley, blending with the gentle bleating of llamas grazing nearby. These animals, hardy and sure-footed, carry burdens and connect communities across steep mountain paths. Their presence a quiet but essential thread in the tapestry of Inca life. Deeper into the jungles, the Mayan cities breathe a secret life. You might catch the faint sound of flutes, carried on the humid air, as dancers move gracefully in feathered costumes during sacred festivals. The scent of burning copal and the sweetness of tropical fruits linger nearby, a sensory reminder of the richness of this world. You notice how nature intertwines seamlessly with human endeavor. Jaguars, symbols of power and protection, watch from shadowed temple corners. Ceiba trees, revered as world trees, stretch skyward as silent witnesses to the unfolding stories. In all these places, society thrives, not only through grand architecture or rich trade, but through the subtle daily moments. Children learning to weave baskets beside elders, families sharing meals of maize porridge flavored with chili and herbs, artisans perfecting their crafts while storytelling weaves history and myth into the very fabric of their lives. Imagine the marketplaces alive, with the chatter of bartering, a mix of languages and dialects blending like a complex melody. The rhythmic clatter of wooden carts on cobblestones mingles with the calls of vendors offering exotic spices, vibrant feathers, or finely worked obsidian tools. The richness of life pulses through these vibrant hubs, places not only of commerce, but of connection and culture. Now, let your awareness drift gently to the natural world that cradled these civilizations. Flowing rivers snake through verdant valleys, their waters sparkling in the sunlight as they nurture the land. Birds flit through the canopy, their songs weaving an ever-present soundtrack to daily life. The wind carries the scent of blooming flowers and ripening fruit, reminding you of the cycles of growth and renewal essential to these societies. As you rest here, in this imagined pre-conquest Americas, allow yourself to appreciate the depth and complexity of these cultures. A flourishing world of knowledge, spirituality, and community. The distant drumbeat softens, the river's song quiets, and you feel the gentle embrace of history's richness settling softly around you. In this moment, the Americas before the conquest exist, not as distant relics but as living landscapes of human experience, inviting your curiosity and your respect. Let the calm rhythm of their stories guide you forward, quietly preparing you for the chapters to come. The lushness of the Mayan jungle, thick with towering ceiba trees, and the hum of cicadas seems to pulse with life as you wander through hidden city ruins draped in vines and moss. Imagine the stepped pyramids, their stones worn smooth by centuries of weather and footsteps, standing as silent sentinels over once vibrant plazas where people gathered for ceremonies and trade. The scent of damp earth rises around you, mingling with distant echoes of conch shells signaling the start of sacred rituals. Picture yourself at the edge of a sprawling Aztec city, Tenochtitlan, where canals crisscross the bustling urban heart like veins carrying life itself. The air is filled with the mingled aromas of roasted maize, rich cacao, and freshly caught fish from the lake. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin as you watch merchants display their colorful goods, feathers shimmering in the light, intricately carved jade, and baskets overflowing with fruits and vegetables, while townsfolk move with purposeful energy through the marketplaces. In the high Andes, the Inca Empire unfolds before you like a vast tapestry of mountains and terraces. The sound of a flute plays softly in the distance, blending with the murmur of a nearby stream flowing over smooth stones. The sturdy stone walls of Machu Picchu rise before you, a marvel of engineering that harmonizes perfectly with the surrounding peaks. The air is crisp and thin, carrying the scent of wild herbs and the distant call of condors soaring overhead. As you breathe deeply in these ancient landscapes, you become aware of the complex social structures that wove these civilizations together. Nobles adorned in fine textiles and gold engage in solemn ceremonies. Priests perform elaborate rituals to honor their gods, and farmers tend to crops that have fed generations. The knowledge of astronomy, medicine, and agriculture is profound, reflecting a deep connection between people and the world they inhabit. Imagine the stories whispered by elders around fires at night, tales of gods and heroes, of battles won and lost, of the cycles of the moon and the stars guiding the planting seasons. These stories, carried through generations, are the heartbeat of culture, connecting past and present in a seamless thread. The gentle rustling of leaves, the soft ripple of water, and the distant beat of drums create an ambient backdrop, inviting you to immerse yourself fully in this rich world. Here, before the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors, the Americas stand as a testament to human creativity, resilience, and harmony with nature. As the soft sounds of the rivers and distant drums fade gently into the background, you carry with you a deep appreciation for these vibrant civilizations, their ingenuity, their spirit, and the thriving worlds they built long before the tides of conquest. The quiet strength and beauty of these ancient societies linger in the air, inviting you to rest and reflect on the richness of a world untouched, a story waiting patiently to be rediscovered. The gentle sway of the ocean rocks the sturdy wooden ships as they inch closer to the unfamiliar shores of the Americas. You can almost hear the creaking timbers of the Armada's vessels, a chorus of groans and sighs, mingling with the salty sea breeze that carries the distant call of seabirds. The air is thick with the scent of brine, mingled with the faint aroma of tar and fresh pine from the ship's decks, as the first Spanish sailors peer cautiously over the sides. Their eyes meet the lush, unspoiled landscapes ahead, dense forests brushing the horizon, sparkling rivers weaving through valleys, and the promise of new lands waiting to be explored. The sound of waves breaking softly on the shoreline accompanies the low murmurs of anticipation and nervous excitement among the crew. On the shore, indigenous people move with quiet grace, their curious gazes fixed upon the strange wooden giants. Anchored offshore, the air is alive with the soft rustling of leaves and distant bird calls, a calm that contrasts with the sudden appearance of these towering ships and their foreign occupants. The meeting of two worlds is a delicate dance, tentative steps taken across language barriers, gestures exchanged, and cautious smiles shared. Imagine the scene, a Spanish sailor holding out a shiny trinket, hoping to bridge the gap, while an indigenous elder examines it with both wonder and suspicion. You might smile softly at the earnest confusion, the European hats casting curious shadows, the unfamiliar clothes rustling with every movement, and the indigenous garments swaying gently in the breeze. The conversations are a patchwork of broken words, gestures, and shared curiosity. Each side tries to understand the other, the Spaniards marveling at the intricate artistry of native crafts, and the indigenous people marveling at the strange contraptions brought from across the ocean. The atmosphere is tinged with cautious awe, a fragile moment, suspended between hope and uncertainty. Through this early contact, you feel the pulse of possibility, a meeting not just of peoples, but of stories, traditions, and futures that might intertwine or diverge in countless ways. It's a scene filled with the potential for friendship, for exchange, and also for conflict, held gently in the balance of first impressions. As the sun dips lower, casting a golden glow over the water and land alike, the sounds of laughter, murmured conversations, and the rhythmic lapping of waves create a soothing backdrop. You can almost hear the soft footsteps on sand mingling with the creak of sails, the flutter of flags, and the murmured prayers for safe passage and peaceful days ahead. In this moment of fragile beginnings, the world holds its breath, a quiet interlude before the tides of history begin to surge. You are invited to settle into this calm, to listen closely to the whispers of the past, and to imagine the countless what-ifs lingering beneath the surface of these first encounters. As the Spaniards set foot on the shore, their boots pressing into the soft earth, You can almost feel the mingling of excitement and tension pulsing through the air, the crunch of gravel beneath their feet, the rustle of leaves as native observers step closer, and the occasional startled cry of a bird create a symphony of senses. This new land, so vibrant and alive, carries with it the promise of opportunity and the shadow of the unknown. You might notice the cautious glances exchanged between the two groups, the Spaniards with their gleaming armor catching the sunlight, and the indigenous peoples adorned in colorful textiles and feathers, their eyes sharp with both curiosity and caution. The air is thick with unspoken questions, tentative greetings, and the subtle dance of diplomacy. Imagine the scents that waft through this early meeting, the salty Thames of the sea mingling with the earthy aroma of pine and fresh greenery, the faint smoke from distant cooking fires, and the subtle fragrance of flowers native to this rich land. These sensory details ground you in the moment, allowing you to experience the scene as if you were standing quietly just beyond the circle of faces. The Spaniards carry with them gifts, small mirrors, beads, and metal trinkets, tokens meant to bridge cultures and spark goodwill. The indigenous people respond with offerings of maize, colorful fruits, and finely woven fabrics, sharing what their land and hands have produced. This exchange is more than material. It is a tentative weaving of trust, a fragile thread stretched across worlds. Yet, beneath the surface of these early encounters, you sense the undercurrents of tension, the fear of the unknown, the suspicion born of past hardships, and the weight of cultural misunderstandings hover like a mist. You hear whispered prayers from both sides, for protection, for wisdom, for peace carried softly on the breeze. As night falls, the scene softens. The crackle of small fires, the flicker of lantern light, and the gentle murmur of voices around communal gatherings create a soothing rhythm. You can almost feel the shared humanity, stories told in gestures and smiles, songs carried softly on the wind, and the quiet comfort of companionship amid uncertainty. This moment, frozen in time, invites you to linger in the delicate balance between hope and fear, familiarity and foreignness. It asks you to reflect on the fragile beauty of first meetings, how worlds touch lightly before the tides of change sweep in dots. So, as you breathe in the cool night air and hear the distant call of an owl, let yourself rest in the peaceful anticipation of what might have been, and what paths history might have taken, had these early encounters unfolded differently. The dawn breaks softly over this fragile meeting, sunlight filtering through the canopy, casting dappled patterns on faces marked by curiosity and caution. Alike, you can almost feel the heartbeat of the land itself, steady, ancient, watching silently as two worlds begin to intersect. The early morning mist carries the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers, a quiet reminder of nature's timeless presence amidst human stories. Listen closely, and you might hear the tentative exchanges, voices gentle and measured, hands extended with offerings and gestures of peace. The clinking of metal from the Spaniard's armor contrasts with the rhythmic beat of native drums, weaving a delicate harmony that holds a promise of understanding. Yet, even in these hopeful moments, shadows linger. The weight of history presses, softly but inevitably, on the shoulders of all involved. Questions without answers hang in the air. What will this contact bring? How will these lives intertwine or unravel? The path ahead is uncertain, marked by both potential and peril. Imagine the landscapes stretching beyond this meeting point, vast forests humming with life, rivers winding like silver threads, and cities rising with stone and spirit. Each place holds its own stories, its own people, ready to face the dawn of a new era in their own way. As the morning light continues to warm the earth, and the sounds of life carried gently on the breeze, you find yourself wrapped in the delicate balance of this encounter, a moment suspended between what was and what might be. The whispers of leaves, the distant call of birds, and the soft murmur of two cultures touching for the first time, create a lullaby of history's tender beginnings. You step quietly onto the soft earth of a vast battlefield, where the air carries a mix of tension and expectation. Around you, the subtle rhythm of war drums pulses, steady and hypnotic, weaving through the scent of smoldering wood and freshly turned soil. The scene is alive with contrasts, the gleam of Spanish steel reflecting sunlight, and the colorful patterns of indigenous warriors their feathers and shields painted with fierce symbolism. The Spanish soldiers' armor clinks softly as they move, a metallic symphony against the natural world's quiet backdrop. Their swords, sharp and straight, catch glimmers of light as they are raised and lowered in practiced motions. The occasional boom of a cannon punctuates the air, its deep echo vibrating through the ground beneath your feet. Nearby, arrows whistle silently, slicing through the humid air before embedding themselves with precise crackles into shields or the earth. Opposite, the indigenous warriors hold a different kind of power, a dance of agility and intimate knowledge of their terrain. Their weapons, from obsidian-edged macuahuitls to long curved bows, reflect a mastery born from centuries of honing both craft and strategy. The clang of wooden clubs meeting armor contrasts with the sharp, quick cracks of spear shafts snapping. Under pressure, their war cries rise and fall like a living wave, riding on the breath of the wind. Imagine yourself moving slowly through this charged space, feeling the tense anticipation between the two forces. The native armies, though outgunned in steel and firepower, wield tactics rooted in understanding the land, the forests, hills, and rivers that weave through their world. They used guerrilla warfare, ambushes, and rapid fluid formations, blending seamlessly into the environment. Their war drums mimic the heartbeat of the earth itself, guiding movements with a primal certainty. Now picture a different scenario where the indigenous warriors' knowledge of the terrain and innovative strategies meet not just the Spanish weaponry, but also the opportunity to outmaneuver their foes. In the dense jungles, the conquistadors, cannons and horses lose their advantage, slowed by thick vines and muddy earth. The nimble warriors strike from unexpected angles, using stealth and speed to harry and exhaust their enemies. As you listen closely, the sounds of battle become a quiet conversation, the clashing of swords softened by the rustle of leaves, the distant boom of cannon fire tempered by the murmurs of water flowing nearby. It is a place where history's echoes linger in the air, and you can almost feel the weight of decisions not yet made. This moment invites you to consider the delicate balance between technology and terrain, strategy and spirit. The steel and gunpowder of one world meet the deep-rooted traditions and ingenuity of another, both bound by the human pulse of courage and survival. Let your breath slow as you take in the sea and the tension, the anticipation, and the whispered possibility that the course of history could have unfolded differently. The battlefield fades gently into twilight, the war drums softening to a distant heartbeat, inviting you into a calm reflection of power, resilience, and the enduring dance between cultures. As the war drums quiet to a distant murmur, let your mind wander deeper into the intricate strategies employed by both sides. Picture the Spanish formation's disciplined ranks of soldiers advancing with precision, their armor a mosaic of shining metal, their muskets and cannons poised to unleash devastating volleys. The smell of gunpowder lingers faintly in the air, mingling with the earthiness of trampled grass and crushed leaves. Yet, just beyond the rigid lines, envision the indigenous warriors moving with fluid grace unseen in the dense foliage. Their movements whisper soft against the forest floor. They employ hit-and-run tactics, striking swiftly and disappearing like shadows, using their intimate knowledge of the land to evade the heavy artillery and horses that are ill-suited to the rugged terrain. Imagine the tension as these two very different approaches to warfare collide, European firepower and formation clashing with indigenous cunning and agility, each side learning, adapting, reacting. The crack of musket fire meets the whiz of arrows. The clash of steel swords mingles with the thunder of war drums. Feel the weight of what might have been a shift in the tide if the indigenous forces had been able to harness their strengths fully, if the terrain had offered them a greater advantage, or if alliances among native groups had been stronger and more unified. The outcome of these confrontations might have written a different story, a story where cultures met not only in conflict but in balance. As the scene fades into the soft rustling of leaves and the distant call of birds returning to their nests, carry with you a gentle sense of respect for the complexity and courage of both worlds, the steel-clad conquistadors and the resilient indigenous warriors. Their encounter was not merely a clash of armies, but a meeting of civilizations, each shaped by its own history, spirit, and hope. Now, with a slow breath, let the battlefield dissolve into quiet dusk. The war drums now a soft heartbeat beneath a settling sky. Let your mind rest in this calm reflection on the power of strategy, the unpredictability of war, and the enduring spirit of those who fought, real people caught in the sweeping tides of history. As the soft twilight deepens, you might imagine the subtle signs of an evening after battle, the flickering glow of campfires, the low murmur of conversations under starlit skies, and the mingling sense of wood smoke and damp earth. Warriors from both sides tend to their wounds or sit quietly, contemplating the day's events and what tomorrow might bring. In this peaceful pause, let yourself feel the weight and complexity of history, not just the clash of steel, but the human stories, the hopes, the fears, and the enduring resilience. Imagine the strategies that might have changed everything, the bravery that shaped worlds, and the echoes of those encounters still whispered in the winds over ancient lands. With this gentle thought, allow the sounds of nature to cradle you, the rustle of leaves, a distant owl's call, the gentle breeze weaving through the trees. Let your mind drift softly, resting in the calm that follows the storm, carrying with you the quiet power of understanding and respect for a world forever changed by the meeting of these great civilizations. You find yourself stepping quietly into a clearing, bathed in the gentle glow of moonlight. Around you, a small group gathers, men and women from different indigenous communities, their faces marked with the strength of generations, their eyes reflecting flickers from the crackling fire. The air hums softly with murmured voices, whispers weaving through the night like a secret song of unity. Imagine this secret council meeting, leaders and warriors leaning in close, sharing stories and strategies, navigating a complex web of rivalries and alliances. The world beyond is changing rapidly, and so must their relationships if they are to protect their lands and people. Before the Spanish arrived, the Americas were home to a vibrant tapestry of societies, each with its own rich traditions, leaders, and histories. But just like any human society, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Tribes that had clashed for generations, rival cities vying for dominance, and complex trade networks that sometimes gave way to competition. Yet amid these rivalries, there was also deep recognition of shared identity and purpose. When faced with a common threat, many indigenous groups came together in coalitions, fragile and difficult to maintain, but powerful in their unity. The alliances were more than just military agreements. They were woven with ceremonies, gift exchanges, and the joining of spirits through ritual. Picture a moonlit night where these communities gather not only to strategize but to strengthen their bonds through ritual dances and prayers. The rhythmic beating of drums pulses through the cool air, voices rising in ancient songs passed down through time. It's in these moments that rivalries pause, and a collective hope for resistance and survival takes root. Now, imagine if these coalitions had been even stronger, more coordinated, and sustained. What might have been possible? You can almost hear the careful negotiations, the delicate balance of honoring individual autonomy while forging a united front. Leaders remind each other of the stakes, the preservation of culture, land, and freedom. Warriors sharpen their weapons, not just for battle but for protecting their people's future. The power of alliance is both practical and spiritual. Shared ceremonies remind everyone that they fight not just for themselves but for ancestors and descendants alike. This sacred responsibility adds weight and meaning to their planning. As you listen to the murmured voices around the fire, consider how history might have shifted if these indigenous coalitions had fully succeeded, standing stronger together against conquest, shaping a very different future for the Americas. Yet, these alliances were never simple or easy. You can sense the undercurrents of distrust, old wounds, and political intrigue that challenged unity, but also the resilience, the willingness to bridge divides for the greater good. Even if only for a moment, the night deepens, and the fire crackles softly, warming the space where these conversations unfold, delicate, hopeful, and fiercely determined. This is a story not only of conflict, but of connection, strategy, and the enduring human spirit seeking solidarity in the face of change. It invites you to hold space for the complexity and courage of indigenous alliances, imagining the strength that might have been wielded had history taken a different path. As the embers glow softly, you might imagine the landscape these coalitions sought to protect: vast forests humming with life, towering mountains guarding hidden valleys, and rivers weaving through the land like silver threads. Each community brought its own knowledge of the terrain, vital for defense and survival. Consider how their shared understanding of the land would have made them formidable opponents, moving silently through forests, using natural barriers to their advantage, and guiding allies safely along secret paths. Their unity was as much about protecting home as it was about resisting invaders. Picture how messages traveled quickly between villages, runners or riders crossing great distances. With urgency, carrying news and coordinating movements, the alliances extended beyond immediate neighbors, forming networks of solidarity. These were not just military coalitions, but communities bound by shared purpose, culture, and hope. As dawn approaches, the fire's glow dims, but the determination lingers in the air, a quiet promise that the spirit of resistance, alliance, and respect for the land remains unbroken. And as you rest in this moment, feel the weight and warmth of those whispered plans beneath the stars, a testament to the strength found in coming together. Even in the most challenging times, imagine yourself stepping into a world once filled with vibrant communities, lush fields alive with activity, and villages humming with the rhythms of daily life. Now, imagine that same world suddenly growing quiet, the laughter and voices fading into whispers, the marketplaces emptied, the fields left untended. This is the silent story of the invisible enemy that changed the course of history. Disease. You walk through a village where the morning sun filters softly through the leaves, but there's an eerie stillness in the air. No footsteps on the worn paths, no smoke curling from chimneys. The scent of fresh earth mingles with the faint, bittersweet smell of wilting flowers left at doorways, offerings for those who have passed on. It's a quiet so profound that it seems almost sacred, a pause in the great pulse of life itself. Long before the arrival of foreign ships and steel swords, the Americas were home to thriving civilizations. The Aztecs, the Incas, the Maya, and countless other peoples. They cultivated vast cities, intricate trade networks, and rich cultural traditions. But when Europeans arrived, they carried more than their ambitions and weapons. Unseen to the eye, alongside them traveled pathogens, smallpox, measles, influenza, illnesses that the indigenous populations had never encountered before. Picture for a moment the fragility of life in those times. Without immunity to these diseases, communities were vulnerable in ways no army or alliance could protect against. Epidemics swept through like silent storms, reducing populations by staggering numbers. Entire villages, once lively with festivals and markets, were abandoned overnight. The land itself seemed to mourn, the silence filling the spaces where life had flourished. You might imagine the confusion and fear that gripped these communities. People faced sickness without understanding its cause, rituals and healers striving desperately against invisible forces. There were no cures, no vaccines, only hope, prayer, and resilience. Families watched loved ones fade away, the grief heavy but tempered by the strength to carry on. Now, gently consider the what-ifs. What if disease had been less widespread? What if communities had been given time or means to understand and contain these outbreaks? Imagine indigenous alliances not only facing the formidable force of foreign weapons, but also standing strong against the ravages of illness. How might the landscape of the Americas, culturally, politically, and demographically, have been different? You can almost hear the whispered stories passed down through generations, memories of loss mingled with survival. The great cities, now silent ruins, once thrived with music, conversation, and vibrant life. The rhythm of drums, the scent of cooking fires, the colors of woven textiles, all echo faintly beneath the quiet earth, reminders of a past interrupted but not forgotten. As you imagine these scenes, feel the profound resilience of the human spirit in the face of an unseen enemy. Disease reshaped the world, yes, but it also revealed the strength and adaptability of those who endured. The healing hands of communities, the preservation of knowledge, the continued celebration of culture. These became acts of resistance and renewal. In this quiet reflection, you are invited to hold space for empathy and understanding. The invisible enemy was a force that transcended battlefields, a reminder that history's tides are shaped not only by swords but by microbes, often overlooked yet profoundly powerful. let the gentle sounds of flowing rivers and soft winds carry you through this story, as you sit peacefully with the lessons of the past, the fragility of life, the impact of unseen forces, and the enduring hope that threads through the human experience. As you continue to imagine these ancient villages and sprawling cities, the weight of loss seems almost tangible, but alongside the sorrow is a quiet dignity in the way communities responded through rituals honoring the departed, through careful tending of the sick with herbal remedies, and through the steadfast continuation of traditions even as so many were lost. Picture a healer preparing a poultice, the aroma of crushed medicinal plants filling the air, as a family gathers to support one another in whispered prayers. The smoke from ceremonial fires curls upward, carrying hopes for protection and healing. These acts, simple yet profound, remind us of the deep connections between people, their environment, and the spiritual world. You might wonder how these epidemics reshaped not just populations but societies. Entire social structures were upended, leaders and elders lost, knowledge threatened with disappearance, and the balance between communities and their land profoundly altered. Yet, despite these challenges, the rich tapestries of culture did not unravel entirely. New forms of resilience arose, adaptations that would influence generations to come. Imagine how these changes echoed far beyond the immediate impact, how the demographic shifts created spaces for new alliances and conflicts, how the reshaping of labor and trade affected economies, and how spiritual life evolved in response to such profound upheaval. The legacy of disease is woven intricately into the broader story of the Americas, an unseen current that influenced the currents of history. In this moment, feel the pulse of that history beneath your feet, the resilience of those who lived, loved, and struggled through unimaginable hardship. Their stories, though shadowed by loss, are also illuminated by hope and endurance, a testament to the unyielding human spirit. As you settle deeper into this reflection, let the gentle sounds of distant drums and flowing streams soothe your mind. The world before and after disease is a reminder of both fragility and strength, of endings and new beginnings, and in this balance, there is a quiet invitation to carry forward empathy for the past, and a gentle confidence in the enduring power of human connection. As you imagine the vastness of these lands, now marked by both vibrant life and silent echoes, consider the role of healing practices amid such turmoil. Indigenous communities turn to their deep knowledge of the natural world, plants, rituals, and spiritual guidance to face the unseen enemy. The scent of sage and cedar in cleansing ceremonies, the rhythmic beating of drums in communal prayers, these were acts of resistance as much as healing. Reflect on the quiet strength it took to nurture hope in the face of relentless loss. Elders passed down stories and teachings, ensuring that culture, language, and identity would survive, even as bodies were claimed by illness. The resilience of the human spirit shines through these acts, an enduring melody beneath the silence. And here, in this space between past and present, let your thoughts rest on the possibilities. What if disease had been kept at bay? How might the vibrant civilizations of the Americas have evolved, unbroken by such devastation? These questions linger gently, inviting curiosity rather than certainty. Allow the soft murmur of the wind through ancient trees and the distant call of birds to accompany your thoughts, a natural soundtrack to this moment of contemplation. The story of disease and demography in the Americas is a profound chapter, one that reveals the delicate interplay of life, death, and survival. In this calm reflection, may you find a sense of connection to those who walked these lands long before us, carrying wisdom and resilience that continue to inspire. Let this awareness settle softly, like a warm breeze. As you journey onward through the unfolding history, as you breathe in the quiet strength of these lands, imagine the indigenous peoples gathering in small circles beneath the canopy of stars. They share knowledge passed through generations, herbs that soothe fevers, rituals that ease pain, and the whispered names of ancestors who watch over them. This healing wisdom was a lifeline, an enduring thread woven through centuries of experience. Yet, the invisible enemy was relentless. Entire villages fell silent, their hearth fires extinguished, fields left untended. The natural rhythms of life shifted, and with each loss, the tapestry of cultures changed, but never unraveled completely. The survivors adapted, remembering and reshaping their world with resilience and grace. You might picture the quiet footsteps along abandoned paths, the soft rustle of leaves in empty marketplaces, and the distant echo of songs carried on the wind, songs of mourning, but also of hope. These were the voices that refused to be silenced. The rivers continued their ancient course, carving paths through mountains and valleys, much like the resilient spirits of those who walked these lands long ago. You can almost hear the gentle murmur of water mingling with the soft whispers of the forest, reminding you of the cycles of life, loss, and renewal. Imagine the sun warming your skin as you stand among the ruins of once thriving villages, where stories are etched not just in stone but in the very soil beneath your feet. The faint scent of earth and wildflowers drifts through the air, carrying with it the memory of gatherings, laughter, and sacred ceremonies. In these quiet spaces, the pulse of life remains a testament to a people's unwavering connection to their land, their ancestors, and each other. Their legacy is not only in what was lost, but in what endures: the languages, the arts, the wisdom passed down through countless generations. You feel a gentle breeze, as if nature itself is breathing alongside you, inviting you to reflect on the delicate balance between fragility and strength. It's a moment to honor those who came before, their struggles and triumphs, and to recognize the threads that link past to present. As night softly descends, imagine a sky filled with stars, each one a beacon of hope and remembrance. The constellations tell tales of journeys and transformations, guiding you through the silent vastness with quiet assurance. Allow yourself to settle into this peaceful embrace, carrying forward the lessons of resilience and compassion. The story of the invisible enemy is not just one of loss, but also of the enduring human spirit that continues to shine through time. The gentle night deepens around you, the soft rustle of leaves and distant calls of nocturnal creatures weaving a calm lullaby. With each breath, you carry the quiet strength of those who lived, loved, and persevered through unimaginable trials. Their stories, whispered through the ages, settle softly in your heart, a tender reminder of resilience, hope, and the enduring bond between humanity and the land. You find yourself gently stepping into the vibrant world of indigenous leadership, a realm shaped by visionaries and warriors whose presence was as commanding as the landscapes they governed. Imagine the sun rising over the sprawling Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, its canals gleaming like ribbons of light, the city alive with the hum of markets and ceremonies. Here, Moctezuma, the great Tlatoani, stands poised, a leader, both revered and complex. His robes, woven from shimmering cotton and adorned with intricate patterns, ripple softly in the morning breeze as he surveys his people. There's a weight in his gaze, the burden of empire and the delicate balance between tradition and the encroaching unknown. Montezuma's mannerisms reveal a man of deep contemplation. His hands move gracefully as he converses with his council, yet beneath that calm exterior lies the fierce spirit of a warrior prepared to defend his realm. His vision stretches beyond mere conquest. It's about preserving culture, faith, and sovereignty. You can almost hear the distant beat of drums marking the rhythm of the city's life, mingling with the rustle of feathers and the scent of copal incense drifting through temple courtyards. Now, shift your gaze to the towering peaks of the Andes, where Atahualpa, the last sovereign of the Inca Empire, stands firm amid the rugged mountains and terraced fields that cradle his kingdom. Clad in vibrant textiles, his presence commands respect and awe, his voice steady as he issues commands to his generals. Atahualpa's eyes hold both the fire of a fierce warrior and the wisdom of a ruler steeped in the spiritual traditions of his people. Picture the swirling mist curling around him, softening the jagged edges of the rocks, while the distant call of condors echoes through the valleys. Atahualpa's strategies reveal a keen understanding of both warfare and diplomacy. He moves through his domain with purposeful grace, listening to the counsel of his advisors, weighing options that could alter the fate of his people. You might catch a rare smile, a flicker of warmth amidst the heavy responsibility he carries, as he shares a quiet moment with trusted allies under the shade of a towering ceibo tree. Beyond these towering figures, there were countless regional chiefs, village elders, and warrior leaders whose stories ripple through history like the gentle flow of a river. Picture a small gathering beneath the wide canopy of a ceiba tree, where a seasoned chief addresses his people, His voice is calm but firm, each word chosen with care, inspiring confidence and unity. Around the fire, young warriors listen intently, their eyes bright with the promise of defending their homeland. The crackle of flames and the occasional hoot of an owl punctuate the evening air, wrapping the scene in a cloak of serene resolve. Imagine the delicate interplay of cultures and languages, the exchange of knowledge and strength between these leaders, each navigating their own challenges and aspirations. Their visions for resistance were not merely about battlefield victories, but about safeguarding traditions, nurturing communities, and weaving a tapestry of resilience that could withstand even the most daunting tides. You might smile softly at the thought of Montezuma's occasional exasperation when advisors debated endlessly, or Atahualpa's light-hearted moments, sharing a meal with his closest companions. These were humans, vibrant and nuanced, balancing the roles of warriors, diplomats, and caretakers of their people. As you settle deeper into this world, the soft murmurs of councils and the rhythmic pulse of ceremonial drums invite you to reflect on how different histories might have unfolded. What if these leaders' strategies had aligned more fully, or if their visions had sparked a broader coalition of resistance? The gentle knight embraces these questions with kindness, offering a quiet space to imagine a future woven with courage, wisdom, and unity. Here, in the glow of ancient fires and the whisper of the wind through sacred groves, the spirit of these indigenous leaders lingers steadfast and inspiring, guiding you through a story not only of conflict but of enduring hope and humanity. You linger in the warmth of these reflections, feeling the strength that flowed through the hands and hearts of these remarkable leaders. Imagine Montezuma standing in his grand palace, the scent of fresh orchids filling the air, as he consults with priests who interpret the movements of the stars. Their celestial wisdom guides decisions that ripple through the empire's many layers, from the bustling markets to the quiet mountain shrines. Shift your gaze to Atahualpa's camp, where the crackling firelight flickers against the polished stone walls. There, he listens carefully, as a messenger recounts news from distant provinces, weighing each piece of information with the gravity it deserves. The air is thick with anticipation, a hush enveloping the night as decisions are made that could change the course of history. You might find yourself drawn to the tales of lesser-known figures as well. The fierce women who inspired warriors, the young commanders who honed their skills amid the rugged terrain, the sages who kept alive the knowledge of their ancestors. Together, they formed a living mosaic of resistance and resilience. Picture a quiet moment where a tribal elder gently weaves a story for the children, gathered around a tale of bravery and wisdom, passed down through generations. The children's eyes sparkle with wonder, the night air filled with the soft rustling of leaves and the distant call of a night. It's a reminder that leadership is as much about nurturing the future as it is about confronting the present. There is a softness here, too, a reminder of the humanity behind the history. Montezuma's moments of doubt, Atahualpa's fleeting laughter, the elders' quiet tears for a world in flux. These leaders were not just warriors or rulers, they were fathers, sons, daughters, and friends, navigating an era of profound change. As you rest in this tapestry of stories and reflections, you are gently invited to hold these figures close, not as distant legends, but as vibrant souls whose visions shaped worlds, whose courage echoes through time. The night wraps around you like a soft cloak, and the murmurs of history lull you toward peaceful contemplation. As you settle deeper into this gentle exploration, imagine the rhythm of daily life that surrounded these leaders, the soft footsteps of servants, the muted conversations of advisors, the distant sounds of artisans shaping precious metals or weaving vibrant textiles. These moments of calm grounded their grand visions, weaving the fabric of their empires with threads of everyday humanity. Feel the earth beneath their feet, the same soil that nurtured maize and quinoa, and the same mountains that offered both protection and challenge. Visualize how these leaders walked through their realms, their presence a blend of authority and connection to the land, their eyes reflecting both the weight of responsibility and the spark of hope. Imagine the vibrant festivals where Montezuma might have presided, the air thick with the scent of burning copal and the rhythmic beating of drums. The community gathered in shared celebration, affirming bonds and renewing faith, a vivid tapestry of culture, strength, and unity. Shift to Atahualpa's moments of solitude by a quiet river, where the cool water mirrors the sky. Here, strategies are pondered, alliances weighed, and the future imagined it, merely as conquest or survival, but as a vision of a people enduring through time. There is humor here, too, perhaps a moment when a trusted advisor missteps with a proverb, causing a ripple of laughter that lightens the evening's seriousness. Such human touches breathe life into the story, reminding you that behind every grand figure is a tapestry of small, shared moments. As you continue to breathe gently, feel the pulse of leadership, its challenges, its triumphs, and its quiet resolve. These figures, standing at the crossroads of history, embody resilience and wisdom, inviting you to carry their stories with both reverence and warmth. Softly, you imagine Montezuma's court, where every gesture carries meaning. Delicate folding of a cloak, the measured cadence of speech, the respectful bow of a messenger bearing news. These subtle expressions reveal not only power, but the intricate web of relationships that held the empire together. Picture Atahualpa's strategists poring over maps etched on deerskin, their fingers tracing mountain passes and river crossings. As they plot defense and diplomacy, the air hums with tension and hope, a blend that stirs both caution and determination in the hearts of those gathered. Consider the personal moments as well. A leader pausing to listen to a child's laughter, a brief smile shared with a trusted companion, or the quiet ritual of tending to sacred fires that connect past, present, and future. These humanizing glimpses remind you that even amidst empire and war, life's simple moments hold profound meaning. Feel the steady rhythm of life in these leaders' worlds, the dawn light filtering through palace windows, the scent of fresh earth after rain, the soft murmur of prayers carried on the breeze. Their visions, while grand, were rooted deeply in the pulse of their people and the land they cherished. As you settle into the calm of this reflection, notice the echo of their footsteps fading gently into the night, leaving behind a legacy woven of courage, wisdom, and the unyielding spirit of their civilizations. This peaceful presence invites you to rest, carrying forward their stories as a quiet strength within you. You find yourself amid a vast expanse of unfamiliar terrain, where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and distant pine. It's early evening, and the camp is settling into a restless quiet. The faint crackle of a dying fire mingles with the occasional shifting of restless horses, their breaths steaming softly in the cool air. Around you, the scattered crates once full of provisions now rattle empty, a haunting reminder of the dwindling supplies that press heavily on every spirit here. Imagine the sound of footsteps on dry leaves, hurried whispers exchanged under the cloak of night, voices laced with exhaustion and unease. These are the murmurs of soldiers far from home, their hearts heavy with longing and their minds burdened by uncertainty. The weight of the unfamiliar presses down, not just the terrain beneath their boots, but the distance from familiar faces, and the comforts of a world left behind. The conquistadors, hardened men though they were, faced more than just fierce warriors and unknown lands. Their supply lines stretched thin, fragile threads connecting them back to Spain across oceans vast and treacherous. Each day, the worry gnawed at them. Would the next shipment of food, weapons, or reinforcements arrive on time, or at all? Without steady supplies, the soldiers' morale began to waver, as did the confidence of their leaders. Visualize the camp's layout, the worn leather satchels piled beside tents, a few scattered cooking pots, and weapons leaning wearily against posts. The rationed food is meat, stale bread, a few preserved olives, and dried meats, far from the hearty meals enjoyed in their homeland. The taste of salt and dust lingers on tongues, and stomachs grow hollow. The nights are long, the cold seeping through thin cloaks, and the sound of distant wildlife only amplifies the isolation. Cultural isolation adds another layer to this struggle. The conquistadors find themselves in a world where every gesture, every word exchanged with native peoples, is tinged with misunderstanding. Their language is strange, the customs even stranger. Trust is a fragile commodity, and loneliness creeps in as they grapple with the unknown. The sun sets over unfamiliar horizons, painting the sky in shades of amber and violet. Yet the warmth it offers is fleeting. Picture a leader pacing near the flickering firelight, his face drawn and shadowed, weighing decisions that could tip the balance between survival and defeat. Around him, wary eyes glance toward the darkness beyond the camp, where dangers both seen and unseen lurk. The tension is palpable, but beneath it lies a stubborn resolve, a glimmer of hope that tomorrow might bring relief. These hardships, the scarcity of supplies, the fraying nerves, the cultural chasms combined in a silent symphony that could have easily played the conquistadors into defeat. Yet, amid the rattling crates and restless horses, they persisted. And here you are, gently walking beside them, feeling the weight of every whispered doubt, every crackling ember, and every cautious breath drawn in the cool night. Allow yourself to sink into this moment, the mingling sounds and scents drawing you deeper into their story. Feel the wind brush softly against your skin, carrying the faint murmur of guarded conversations and the steady heartbeat of a group holding on in a land both beautiful and unforgiving, that as the camp settles into a fragile peace beneath the stars, you carry with you the profound understanding of the silent battles waged not just on open fields, but within the hearts and minds of those who journeyed far from home. The dawn brings little relief, as the first pale light spills over rugged hills and dense forests, revealing a landscape both breathtaking and relentless. The conquistadors awaken to the same challenging stores, aching limbs, and the pressing question of how to continue forward with dwindling resources. The path ahead remains uncertain, but the fragile bonds among the men tighten, forged by shared hardship and the quiet determination to survive. Imagine the soft crunch of boots on frosted grass, the low murmur of strategizing voices, and the flicker of hope ignited by the smallest signs of progressor, fresh spring discovered, a gift from a local village, or a convoy arriving just in time. Each small victory sustains their spirit amid the ever-present tension. Yet, the shadows of doubt linger. Supplies might fail again. The unfamiliar terrain could turn hostile. The native peoples, whose customs remain a mystery, might unite against them. These worries weave through the camp, like an unseen thread, binding all in a collective uncertainty. Through this lens, you witness a different side of conquest, not the glory of triumph, but the endurance of those who bore the weight of survival. You hear the quiet prayers whispered into the wind, the shared jokes that lift heavy hearts, and the stubborn hope that keeps weary feet moving forward. Allow this scene to settle gently around you, the flickering firelight, the steady rhythm of life persisting in the face of adversity. In this moment, the Spanish struggle becomes a human story of resilience, frailty, and the relentless drive to endure on foreign shores. As night deepens, the camp settles into uneasy rest. The flickering campfires cast long shadows, dancing across weary faces etched with fatigue and worry. The whisper of restless horses mingles with the rustling of tents, while the distant call of nocturnal creatures reminds all that the wild surrounds them still, indifferent to human struggle. In these quiet hours, thoughts drift to home, families left behind, letters unread, and promises made. The loneliness of foreign lands weighs heavily, and yet camaraderie weaves a fragile safety net. Soldiers share blankets, stories, and the scarce warmth that friendship can provide. You might imagine the muffled sounds of a soldier, quietly sharpening his sword, or the soft sob of a man overwhelmed by the enormity of their mission. Here, courage is measured not just by battle, but by the ability to face each dawn despite the unknown. The supply lines, fragile as spiderwebs, creak under pressure. Every missed shipment, every lost mule, tightens the noose of scarcity. Food grows scarce, medicine scarcer still. Morale fluctuates with the weather and the news, rising with small triumphs and falling with setbacks. Yet, this fragile existence is what shapes the fate of the conquistadors. The battle is not only against native forces, but against the elements, disease, and the ever-present specter of despair. In this blend of hardship and hope, history might have taken a different path. Let the sounds of the night crackling fires, distant owl calls, and the soft breathing of men and beasts lull you gently into reflection on the tenuous balance of survival in an alien world, where every day is a test of will and every step forward a small victory. The stillness of the night holds these stories quietly, like whispered secrets beneath the stars. In the shadows of tents and flickering fires, the conquistadors' struggles echo a testament to endurance amid uncertainty. As you settle deeper into calm, Imagine the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft breath of the wind carrying away the weight of distant worries, leaving only the steady rhythm of resilience. You step gently into the quiet corners of a world often overshadowed, where women, both indigenous and Spanish, carved their own paths amidst the tides of conquest and resistance. Picture the soft murmur of village life, where women move with purpose, their hands busy with tasks both tender and vital, their spirits quietly unyielding. Imagine an indigenous healer kneeling by a small fire, the aromatic smoke curling upwards. As she prepares herbal remedies, the scent of dried herbs mingles with the earthy air, and her fingers move deftly, selecting leaves and roots known through generations. Her knowledge, passed down with whispers and careful observation, is alive only for physical ailments but for the soul. Her presence in the community is both revered and essential, a beacon of care amid uncertainty. Nearby, a warrior woman sharpens her obsidian blade, the dark, glassy edge catching the light as she prepares for the day's challenges. Her eyes reflect a steely resolve, shaped by both heritage and necessity. She trains silently, her movements a blend of grace and strength, ready to defend her people and their land. Her courage, though rarely sung in grand tales, pulses through the veins of her community like an unspoken anthem. Now shift your gaze to the Spanish side, the settlers' wives who navigate a new, foreign world with equal parts resilience and adaptation. Envision a woman tending to her small garden just beyond the adobe walls, the soil crumbling softly beneath her fingers. She cultivates life amidst the strange land, her efforts quietly sustaining the household and bridging two worlds. The aroma of fresh herbs and baked bread rises, mingling with the sun-warmed adobe. Picture an interpreter, a woman fluent in both languages, moving between gatherings with calm authority. Her voice carries the weight of negotiation and understanding, a vital link in the fragile dance between conqueror and native. Through her stories and intentions cross boundaries, shaping moments of peace or tension with subtlety and grace. Throughout these scenes, listen to the soft rhythms of daily life, the clink of pottery, the gentle laughter of children, the quiet hum of weaving cloth. Women's work, often invisible to history's broad brushstrokes, forms the fabric of survival and cultural continuity. Their caregiving, whether soothing a fevered brow or preparing a sacred ceremony, is a steady current beneath the tumultuous waves of change. Consider the quiet acts of courage, a mother protecting her child amid upheaval, a healer defying fear to tend the wounded, a warrior standing firm in defense of home. These moments, intimate and profound, weave a story of resilience that challenges the grand narratives of conquest. Reflect on the complexities of their experiences straddling worlds, confronting loss, yet nurturing hope. Their influence ripples outward, shaping communities and histories in ways both seen and unseen. As you imagine their lives, feel the strength in their softness, the power in their perseverance. Allow the gentle cadence of this reflection to settle around you, like a soft shawl on a cool evening. The stories of these women invite us to honor the depth of human experience in all its quiet courage and enduring grace. As the sun sets softly over distant hills, imagine the flicker of candlelight illuminating the interiors where women gather, share stories, weaving cloth, and tending to the needs of family and community. The murmured prayers, the soothing lullabies, and the gentle hands that heal all threads in a tapestry, woven with patience and love. Feel the delicate balance they maintained, often negotiating the delicate politics between indigenous traditions and imposed colonial structures. Their lives were a blend of adaptation and resistance, nurturing cultural identity even as new realities pressed in. Through whispered songs in native tongues, secret rituals, and the preservation of ancestral knowledge, these women became keepers of history and hope. Picture a healer passing on her knowledge to younger women, ensuring that roots and remedies would survive generations. Hear the rustling of pages in rare written accounts, as Spanish women recorded observations, sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with empathy, revealing glimpses into this intertwined world. Pause to consider the unspoken burdens and the quiet strength, how motherhood intertwined with warfare, how nurturing and fighting were not opposites but parts of a whole. The resilience of these women was a living force, coursing beneath the surface of upheaval and change. As you drift gently through these moments, Let the sounds of a crackling fire, soft footsteps on earthen floors, and distant calls of night birds lull you deeper into reflection. This is a story of survival, adaptation, and the indomitable spirit that transcends circumstance. Imagine now the bustling village squares and quiet hearths, where women shaped daily life, not merely as bystanders but as vital threads in the social fabric. The scent of freshly ground maize mingles with the earthy aroma of medicinal herbs. Hands skilled in both craft and care move rhythmically in the dim light. Visualize indigenous women warriors preparing for battle, their faces resolute, voices steady, blending the sacred and the strategic. Nearby, Spanish women, both settlers and interpreters, navigate unfamiliar worlds with courage and adaptability, often acting as crucial bridges between cultures. Hear the whispers of conversations carried on the wind, plans made in secret, alliances forged through marriage and kinship, and acts of quiet defiance in the face of overwhelming change. Each gesture, each word, is imbued with meaning and survival. Feel the pulse of life moving beneath the surface of grand historical events, the nurturing, teaching, and healing performed by women that sustained communities through turmoil. Their stories may not dominate the annals of conquest, but their influence shapes the contours of history nonetheless. Let the soft cadence of evening soundscrivets, distant rivers, the rustling of leaves accompany you deeper into this reflection, inviting a calm appreciation for the resilience and compassion woven into the lives of these remarkable women. And so, as the gentle night settles over these ancient lands, you carry with you the quiet strength and enduring spirit of the women who lived, loved, and fought amidst the tides of change. Their stories, whispered softly through time, remind us of courage found in everyday acts, and the profound impact of those often unseen but deeply felt. Let this calm reflection linger, wrapping you in a warm embrace of history's tender echoes. You find yourself standing softly at the edge of a sacred space, where the air is thick with the scent of copal incense and the murmurs of prayers woven through time. Around you, towering temples rise like mountains carved by human hands, steep steps leading upward, each worn smooth by countless feet seeking connection to the divine. Here, in the heart of the Americas, the spiritual worlds of the Aztecs and the Incas breathed life into every stone, every ritual. Imagine the vibrant energy of an Aztec ceremony unfolding beneath a blazing sun. Priests adorned in feathers and jade move rhythmically, their voices chanting ancient hymns that call upon Huitzilopochtli, the sun and war god. Drums beat in steady rhythms, echoing the heartbeat of the earth itself, while the crowd's collective breath mingles with the smoke rising from burning offerings. Each gesture, each whisper of prayer, is a bridge between the mortal and the divine, a pact to maintain harmony in a world teetering between chaos and order. Shift your gaze to the Andean highlands, where the Incas honor Inti, the sun god, within grand stone temples perched above lush valleys. The air is cooler here, carrying the distant song of flutes and the soft rustle of llamas. The sacred ceremonies are quiet but no less powerful, solemn processions winding through terraces. The weaving of colorful textiles, a symbolic act connecting people to Pachamama, the Earth Mother. The Inca's spirituality is deeply intertwined with nature's rhythms, every mountain and river holding sacred significance. Now, gently, imagine the arrival of Spanish missionaries, their footsteps and voices unfamiliar in this ancient spiritual tapestry. Clad in heavy wool and leather, their chants rise differently, echoing through stone churches built atop old temples, as if to sing a new song over the old. They bring the Christian God, with solemn prayers and promises of salvation, often not quite understanding the depth or meaning of the native faiths they encounter. There's an awkwardness in this cultural meeting, a dance of hope and misunderstanding. You might smile softly, imagining a friar trying to explain the concept of heaven to a group steeped in millennia of cyclical beliefs, or an Aztec priest puzzling over the notion of a single, unseen deity. Yet beneath these moments lie shared human desires, connection, protection, and the hope for a better life. The Spanish saw their mission as a spiritual battle, a conquest not only of land but of souls, while indigenous peoples wove their resistance into rituals and prophecies, seeing their gods as warriors in their own right. Consider the role of prophecy in this world, the whispered predictions of dark-skinned gods returning from across the sea, portents that stirred both fear and hope. Some indigenous leaders read the arrival of the conquistadors through sacred texts and signs, interpreting the upheaval as part of a larger cosmic cycle. These beliefs shaped decisions on whether to resist, negotiate, or adapt. The clash of faiths was not just a confrontation of swords, but of visions, one world folding into another, with all the confusion, adaptation, and resilience that such a transformation entails. In the quiet moments, when the temples stood empty or the candles flickered low, a shared longing echoed for peace, for understanding, for survival. As you breathe in the layered sense of incense and earth, let yourself feel the complexity of this spiritual battleground, not as a tale of simple conquest, but as a living story of belief, hope, and the human search for meaning. The sacred sites, once vibrant with color and song, now bear silent witness to the tides of change. Yet, beneath the surface, the old gods linger, woven into the prayers whispered in hidden corners, in the weaving of textiles, and in the rhythm of traditional dances passed down through generations. These echoes remind us that faith is not so easily conquered, but endures in the hearts of those who hold it dear. Imagine the gentle glow of dusk settling over a ceremonial fire, where an elder quietly shares stories of the past, of gods who walk the earth and heroes who embody their strength. The crackling flames cast shifting shadows on faces weathered by time, faces marked by resilience and an unbroken spirit. In these moments, faith is both a shield and a beacon, a guide through uncertainty and a promise of renewal, through the blending of worlds native and foreign, old and new arose, a complex spiritual mosaic. Syncretism emerged quietly but profoundly, where saints mingled with ancestral spirits and rituals adapted to new symbols, creating a living tapestry of belief that continues to inspire and comfort. Let yourself rest in this space of reverence and reflection, where the clash of cultures gives way to understanding, and where the enduring power of faith, no matter its form, reminds us all of our shared humanity. As night deepens, the last embers glow softly, and the whispers of prayers drift upward, merging with the stars. Here, between past and present, between worlds seen and unseen, you feel the profound connection of all who have sought the sacred, carried hope, and walked the path of belief across the ages. The flickering candlelight softly illuminates the intricate carvings of a temple doorway, where centuries-old symbols tell stories of gods both feared and beloved. The air carries the mingled sense of copal incense and blooming marigolds, inviting a calm reverence that transcends time. In the stillness, you can almost hear the faint echo of drums and chants, a timeless heartbeat linking past to present. Across distant highlands, the Inca priests gather, cloaked in woven cloth dyed with vibrant reds and yellows. Their voices rise in solemn prayer, calling upon Inti, the sun god, to grant favor and protection. Nearby, the Spanish missionaries light candles in stone chapels, their Latin hymns weaving through the air alongside native melodies. This intertwining of sound and spirit forms a complex dialogue, rich with hope, misunderstanding, and transformation. As you listen, the delicate balance of belief unfolds, a dance between resistance and adaptation. The Aztec god Huitzilopochtli's fierce call for warriors echoes alongside the gentle prayers to the Virgin Mary. Both worlds hold their truths, their fears, and their dreams. The Spanish conquest was not only a battle of swords, but a profound clash of souls, where faith was both a weapon and a refuge. Imagine a quiet village, where elders teach children the old ways beneath the watchful gaze of a cross. The young ones learn to weave stories of gods and saints alike, their voices a tapestry of reverence and resilience. Here, faith becomes a bridge away to honor ancestors while navigating new realities. Allow yourself to rest in this mosaic of belief, where sacred fires burn softly and the hum of prayers fills the air. This is a place of spiritual endurance, where the past lives on in ritual, song, and the quiet strength of a people whose faith carries them through the centuries. Soft echoes of flute melodies drift through ancient forest groves, mingling with whispered chants that rise from stone altars. In these sacred spaces, the old and new intertwine, a tapestry of belief that shapes identity, inspires courage, and fosters resilience. The Aztec ceremonies, rich with vibrant colors and solemn rhythms, honor gods of sun and rain, warriors and fertility. while Spanish friars bring prayers of redemption and hope. You can almost feel the tension in the air as indigenous priests and missionaries meet, each convinced of their path, each hoping to guide souls toward salvation. Yet beneath these encounters lies a shared human desire to find meaning in the vastness of the world, to seek protection against forces beyond control, to hold fast to hope amid uncertainty. Imagine the symbolic dances performed under moonlit skies, feet pounding the earth in homage to ancient spirits, while nearby, crosses cast long shadows on chapel walls. Here, faith is not static but alive, evolving, resisting, embracing. It's a dialogue written in fire and prayer, in whispered legends and sung hymns. As you settle into this quiet reverence, let the sounds and scents wash over you, the crackle of burning incense, the soft rustle of ceremonial garments, the gentle murmur of voices lifted in song. Feel the weight of history balanced with the lightness of hope, a spiritual landscape as vast and varied as the lands it touches. In this sacred space, the clash of worlds becomes a meeting of hearts, each story a thread woven into the endless fabric of human experience, reminding us of the enduring power of belief to shape our journey through time. The flickering glow of sacred fires fades gently into the quiet night, leaving behind a stillness that invites reflection. As the echoes of ancient prayers and distant hymns settle softly around you, you carry with you the understanding that these spiritual journeys, marked by both conflict and compassion, have left an indelible mark on history. Rest now in this peaceful awareness, wrapped in the timeless dance of faith, resilience, and hope that continues to inspire across the ages. You step softly into the heart of a city untouched by conquest, where the air hums with the rhythm of daily life, vibrant and unbroken. Imagine wandering through wide plazas bustling with merchants and artisans, their stalls brimming with colorful textiles, fragrant spices, and intricate pottery. The chatter of buyers and sellers mingles with the melodious calls of street musicians, weaving a rich tapestry of sound that pulses through the cobblestone streets. Around you, architectural marvels rise, stepped pyramids adorned with gleaming stone carvings, palatial homes with carved wooden balconies shaded by flowering vines, and grand temples where smoke from sacred fires curls lazily into the sky. The scent of burning copal incense mingles with the earthiness of freshly tilled gardens and the sweet aroma of blooming flowers as festivals unfold. The city swells with celebration. Dancers in vibrant plumage and woven fabrics move rhythmically to the beat of drums and flutes, their movements telling ancient stories of gods, heroes, and the seasons. Children chase one another through the crowds, laughter ringing clear as lanterns begin to glow softly, casting warm pools of light across stone steps and bustling marketplace. Picture how these cities, free to evolve, might have grown into centers of innovation and culture where knowledge of astronomy and agriculture deepened, weaving science and spirit seamlessly together. Trade routes stretch outward, connecting diverse peoples in a web of exchange and mutual respect, bringing new ideas, goods, and friendships. In this world, language flourishes in vibrant dialects, literature and oral histories thrive, and art captures the spirit of a people in every painted glyph and sculpted figure. Imagine scholars debating beneath the shade of sacred trees, while poets compose verses celebrating the earth, the sky, and human connection. You feel the pulse of this imagined city alive, resilient, and ever-growing. The blend of tradition and innovation creates a harmony that carries its people forward, each day a page in an unfolding story, untouched by foreign hands. As twilight deepens, the city settles into a peaceful rhythm. The distant sound of water trickling through stone aqueducts mixes with the gentle rustling of leaves, creating a lullaby of nature and civilization intertwined. Here, the possibility of what might have been whispers softly in the evening breeze, inviting you to dream alongside this thriving world of hope and enduring spirit. The night sky above this city is a canvas of stars, undimmed by the smoke or steel of conquest, where constellations guide travelers and inspire poets alike. Beneath this celestial dome, families gather around fires, sharing stories passed down through generations, stories that bind the community with threads of memory and meaning. Imagine the marketplaces at dawn, bathed in golden light, as vendors, set up fresh offerings, fruits bursting with color, hand-woven baskets, and fragrant herbs. The rhythmic pounding of textiles being woven, the gentle clinking of pottery, and the murmur of negotiation fill the air. Life moves with a graceful cadence, each sound and scent painting a vivid picture of a city alive with possibility. Here, the arts flourish. Murals depicting heroic deeds and sacred myths adorn temple walls, while skilled craftsmen fashion jewelry and ceremonial objects that shimmer with symbolism. Music, both solemn and joyful, weaves through the streets. Played on flutes carved from bones and drums stretched tight with animal hides, echoing the heartbeat of the land itself. You walk past gardens lush with maize, beans, and sacred three sisters growing in harmony, and witness farmers tending the land with knowledge refined over centuries. The cycles of the sun and moon guide planting and harvest, festivals and rites marking the passage of time with reverence and celebration. Imagine universities of thought, where scholars debate philosophy, astronomy, and medicine, blending observation with spiritual insight. The libraries, filled with codices of history, poetry, and science, are treasures accessible to many, preserving wisdom for future generations. In the streets, children learn through play and storytelling, while elders share lessons of courage, community, and respect for the earth. Social bonds are strong, forged through shared work, ritual, and the joys of daily life. As evening falls, lanterns flicker along the avenues, casting soft light on smiles and greetings exchanged in the cool air. The city hums with contentment, a testament to resilience and continuity. This imagined city full of sound, color, life, and learning beckons you to consider the profound legacy of civilizations left to grow, thrive, and inspire. It invites you to hold a gentle wonder for what history almost was, and a calm appreciation for the enduring spirit of these ancient peoples. As you linger in this vision, the gentle rustling of palm fronds and the distant call of a ceremonial horn remind you of the deep connection these urban centers maintained with their surrounding landscapes. Rivers meander nearby, their waters nourishing fields and filling canals that irrigate the thriving city gardens. The air is perfumed with blossoms from towering ceiba trees, sacred to many, their roots intertwined with the stories and foundations of the community. You might notice the marketplace's vibrant tapestries, woven with symbols representing both daily life and cosmic beliefs, each thread a story, each pattern a prayer. Nearby, artisans carefully craft obsidian blades and gold ornaments, their skills passed down through generations, honored and perfected. The exchange of goods is lively yet respectful, a dance of cooperation that sustains the city's wealth and harmony. At the heart of the city stands a grand temple, its steps worn smooth by countless pilgrims seeking guidance and solace. Here, priests perform rituals honoring the gods of sun and rain, life and death, their voices rising in song that carries across plazas and rooftops. The scent of copal incense lingers, mingling with the warmth of the day and the promise of the night to come. In quieter quarters, scholars pore over codices, charting the stars and chronicling the seasons, their minds weaving science and spirituality into a seamless fabric of understanding. The vibrant intellectual life offers hope and wisdom, nourishing not just the body but the spirit. Even as dusk deepens, the city pulses with energy and a place where culture, nature, and community flourish in a delicate balance. The songs of birds settle into the night, and the flicker of torchlight guides late wanderers home, safe and embraced by the city's enduring heart. As you gently step away from this vision, the peaceful sounds and rich colors linger, inviting you to carry forward a quiet respect for these cultures and the paths they might have traveled. Had history taken another turn, that the vibrant scenes slowly fade as twilight deepens, leaving behind a calm stillness filled with the echoes of life, laughter, and enduring spirit. The gentle breeze carries with it a sense of timelessness, reminding you that these stories, whether realized or imagined, continued to shape the world in subtle, profound ways. With that peaceful thought, you settle deeper into quiet reflection, the soft rhythm of distant drums guiding you gently onward. You find yourself wandering through a serene landscape, where ancient forests sway gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering stories of balance and care. The air carries the fresh scent of earth and water, mingled with the subtle aroma of ripening maize and wildflowers. It's a world shaped not by conquest, but by a deep, respectful relationship between people and their environment. Imagine fields, cultivated with meticulous attention, where the soil is nourished by centuries of careful stewardship. Indigenous farmers, wise in the ways of the land, use techniques that promote sustainability, rotating crops, planting complementary species, and allowing the earth time to rest. The rustle of cornstalks in the wind blends with the soft splash of irrigation channels, a testament to thoughtful water management that supports both the harvest and the surrounding ecosystems. Nearby, you hear the gentle murmur of a stream flowing over smooth stones, its clear water nourishing not only crops, but also the surrounding forest. Trees stand tall and healthy, their roots intertwining beneath the soil, fostering a rich network of life. Birds call from the branches, while small mammals scurry through the underbrush, all thriving in this carefully maintained habitat. This landscape is a vibrant mosaic of managed forests, cultivated terraces, and natural wild spaces. Indigenous peoples have long practiced forest gardening, encouraging the growth of useful plants while preserving biodiversity. Medicinal herbs flourish alongside fruit-bearing trees. Nuts and berries are harvested sustainably, ensuring that wildlife and humans alike share in the abundance. You might picture the llamas and alpacas grazing peacefully on Andean slopes, their presence integrated into a system that respects animal welfare and the land's limits. In other regions, the careful domestication of turkeys and other native animals adds another layer to this intricate balance. In this vision of an unconquered Americas, the land remains a living partner. Without the disruptions of conquest, massive deforestation and monoculture plantations may have been avoided. Traditional knowledge of the seasons, soils, and natural cycles would continue to guide agricultural practices, fostering resilience against climate fluctuations. The sounds of harvest festivals echo softly across the valley's drums, flutes, and laughter mingling with the hum of busy hands gathering food. These celebrations honor the earth's gifts, reminding all of the reciprocal relationship between people and nature. Imagine the scent of freshly turned earth mingling with smoke from small controlled fires, used thoughtfully to rejuvenate fields, without harm. The harmony between use and preservation forms the backbone of communities thriving in balance with their surroundings. The absence of conquest allows sacred groves to remain untouched, rivers to flow free, and wildlife to roam without the pressures of expansion and exploitation. In this world, human footprints are light, leaving behind a legacy of sustainability and reverence. You can almost feel the soil beneath your feet, rich, dark, and alive with the energy of generations who lived with intention and care. The slow rhythm of planting, growing, and harvesting sets a pace attuned to nature's own heartbeat. As the sun dips lower, casting golden light over fields and forests, you sense the enduring promise of a land nurtured rather than conquered. This vision invites you to reflect on how choices, respect, and connection shape not only history but the very earth beneath us. And with that gentle thought, the landscape fades softly into a tranquil night, where stars twinkle like seeds scattered across a vast, fertile sky. As the night deepens, the cool air carries the faint rustling of leaves and the distant call of nocturnal creatures, reminding you that the world is alive with a quiet, steady pulse, one shaped by centuries of care and coexistence. In this imagined world, the legacy of indigenous stewardship continues to resonate, offering lessons that reach across time. You feel a gentle breeze, as if nature itself is whispering secrets of resilience and harmony, inviting you to carry these reflections forward with calm confidence. The Earth's story, woven through the hands and hearts of those who lived in balance with it, remains a soothing reminder of what is possible when respect guides our footsteps. The air in the grand halls of European courts is thick with the scent of waxed wood, parchment, and rich tapestries whispering stories of power and ambition. Imagine yourself stepping quietly into this world, where kings and queens plot their next moves with a mix of patience and urgency, their faces illuminated by flickering candlelight. This is a time when alliances are as delicate as lace, and rivalries simmer beneath the polished surface of diplomacy. Now, Picture a map spread across a heavy oak table, its edges curling with age. Hands hover over the vast oceans, tracing routes that promise new wealth and influence. Spain's voyages to the Americas have always held a magnetic pull, a promise of riches, new territories, and expanding empires. But imagine, just for a moment, what would have happened if Spain's ambitious conquest had faltered, if the dreams of silver and gold had slipped through their fingers like sand. The ripple effects would have been profound. Across the Channel, in the courts of France and England, a different narrative would unfold. Ships might have been outfitted with renewed vigor, captains and sailors eager to claim uncharted lands before their rivals could. The Portuguese, already masters of maritime navigation, could have expanded their reach further into the New World's rich coasts, weaving a web of colonies and trade networks stretching far beyond their known borders. Close your eyes and imagine the docks along the Thames or the Seine, bustling with activity. Ships creak under the weight of barrels, sails billow like the wings of great birds ready to take flight, and the salty sea breeze carries the chatter of hopeful sailors. New maps are drawn, with bold lines marking territories once claimed by Spain but now up for grabs. The delicate dance of colonization would have taken on an entirely new rhythm, one shaped by shifting loyalties and fresh ambitions. Back in the royal chambers, whispered conversations speculate on how these changes could reshape Europe itself. Without the vast influx of wealth from the Americas, Spain's influence might wane, altering the balance of power that held the continent in a tense embrace. Alliances forged in the heat of conflict could unravel, replaced by new partnerships built on the promise of opportunity. Imagine the courtiers exchanging letters scented with lavender, their words carrying news of distant lands and shifting tides. The Portuguese crown, buoyed by success, might find itself at the heart of a burgeoning empire, while England, still nurturing dreams of exploration, plots bold expeditions to claim its place under the sun. France, with its elegant courts and fierce warriors, could assert influence along the Caribbean's azure shores. Even trade routes, the veins through which the lifeblood of economies flowed, would be redrawn. The flow of spices, precious metals, and exotic goods might favor different ports, sparking the growth of new cities and the decline of others. Merchant ships laden with treasures would navigate unfamiliar waters, their crews guided by stars and the steady hands of seasoned navigators. Yet, amid these grand shifts, life in Europe's towns and villages would continue with its familiar rhythms: the clang of blacksmiths' hammers, the scent of fresh bread from bustling bakeries, and the laughter of children chasing one another through cobbled streets. The vast ambitions of empires feel both distant and intimately connected to the lives of everyday people, woven into the fabric of their world. As you imagine these scenes, consider how the failure of one power could have opened doors for others, reshaping histories in ways both subtle and profound. The landscape of the Americas and Europe alike might have looked very different, painted with new alliances, conflicts, and cultural exchanges, and through it all, the human spirit of exploration and adaptation would continue to guide the course of history. So, as you rest here now, let the soft rustle of turning pages and the gentle flicker of candlelight carry you into dreams of vast seas and distant lands, where every choice holds the promise of change, and every horizon invites wonder. As you settle deeper into this imagined world, the murmurs of court intrigue and the creak of ship timbers fade into a tranquil hum, like the distant echo of waves against a shoreline unseen. It's easy to feel the weight of history's turning points and the delicate threads that connect them, threads woven by people daring enough to dream beyond their known horizons. Picture 2. The quiet moments in between: a young sailor, polishing a brass compass under the soft glow of a lantern, a cartographer carefully sketching coastlines by candlelight, or a monarch gazing out a palace window, pondering the vast unknown just beyond the horizon. These intimate glimpses remind you that behind every grand shift lies a tapestry of human hopes, fears, and resilience. The potential shifts in power, the reimagining of maps, and the reshuffling of empires aren't just political moves on a chessboard. They ripple outwards, touching lives in unexpected ways, from the bustling markets of Paris to the fishing villages along the Portuguese coast, from the hallowed halls of English nobility to the quiet farms dotting the countryside. And so, As your mind gently drifts along these imagined currents of change, you carry with you the calm understanding that history is both fragile and fluid. The what-ifs of the past invite us not only to ponder what might have been, but also to appreciate the intricate dance of chance and choice that shapes our present. Let this soothing thought cradle you now, as the flickering candlelight casts soft shadows, and the distant sounds of a world in flux fade into peaceful stillness. You are gently carried forward, or backward, along the serene waves of time, where every story is both unique and deeply connected to the endless sea of human experience. As the gentle cadence of history's EB carries you onward, imagine the quiet halls of European courts now humming with different tunes, alliances forged where once there was rivalry, ships setting sail for shores still undiscovered by those eager to explore new horizons. The maps, redrawn by cautious hands, reveal landscapes untouched by conquest, dotted with cultures flourishing on their own terms. In this alternate flow of time, the bustling ports of Portugal and France might have grown into gateways for exploration and trade, their fleets charting courses that shifted the balance of power across oceans and continents. England's ambitions, too, could have taken new shapes, as monarchs and merchants alike had opportunities that emerged from Spain's faltering grasp. Through the delicate dance of diplomacy and discovery, a different world takes shape. One where cultures meet with curiosity rather than conquest, where trade routes weave new patterns of exchange and understanding, and where the stories of countless peoples intertwine in fresh, vibrant ways. Feel the soft rustle of parchment maps spread across tables, the muted chatter of advisors weighing decisions, and the faint scent of ink and parchment mingling with the salt air from distant seas. These sensory moments invite you to rest in the thoughtful stillness of possibility, contemplating the quiet power of choices made and unmade in the grand theater of history. And as this gentle reflection settles like a calming breeze, allow yourself to drift peacefully, cradled by the timeless rhythms of change and continuity, ready to explore the next chapter when you're ready to awaken once more.